Hello? Good. Let's try this again, shall we? Good morning, everyone. Welcome back to another stream. Fingers crossed that the settings I have changed will make things run a little bit more smoothly than they did first time around. If you could just drop it in the chat just to make sure that things are running and looking like they're going a little bit better. The quality may be very slightly, you probably won't notice it, lower, and there'll be a slightly bigger delay between me talking and like the chat delay. Just, you probably don't care, but I've changed a few of those settings to try and help like my Wi-Fi cope with it. I'm normally in London where the Wi-Fi is great, but I'm now actually at home over Christmas, and apparently out in the middle of nowhere the Wi-Fi is a little bit slower, but the dropped frames looks much better. It may happen very occasionally, but it looks like we are good to go for this morning. So let's get back to where we were. Good morning, everyone. I won't do the usual answer loads because we already wasted 20 minutes of this morning. I hope you do like the new stream setup. That is part of the reason that the Wi-Fi is not liking it, if not the main reason, because it is pulling data basically from a massive Excel spreadsheet that I have and I had made that then feeds into all of these boxes that you see sort of around the screen, which is why it's there. But that's been sort of 2 months in the making. I wanted it ready for this stream. It was almost ready for the one Gameweek 16, so I almost had it for there, but I decided I'd wait and do it today. But we've done hellos, we could do them again. I'm lost. Let's get into your questions. If you haven't already, please make sure you like and subscribe if you haven't already. If you could try and hit 50 likes on the stream just to start it off, that would be fantastic. But yeah, we'll get into your questions. I will keep an eye on the frames as well. If you could let me know if anything does drop, then that would be great. But I think we are looking better. Like it might drop like a little bit, but I'm okay with where we are now. So Martial or Wilson? If you've got the money for Wilson, I do think it's Wilson. I'm not necessarily sure I want to be going and taking the risk on Martial, given that I also imagine that you have, sorry, I'm just trying to tweet this out with the new link. Cool. If you've got the money for Wilson, I like it. I imagine you've also got Rashford in your team, so I don't necessarily think you're going to need both of them in there. If you've got Rashford, then yeah, I don't think you need Martial as well. No Spurs. So yes, this is my lineup. I don't think it's going to change, become 11 o'clock this morning when the deadline is. You can see above me in one of the rotation there that you've got the time to the deadline made to look a little bit better as well. So yeah. Will I go on Martial over Rashford? No. I could do Martial over Rashford. I just think Martial should start 2 of the first 3. Probably will start 3 of the first 3, but there is a chance that he does not start all of them. So that's the slight thing that I'm having a bit of doubt on, the amount of minutes. Rashford is the number 1 Manchester United pick for me. I think it's safe for me to say that I think he's the number 1 Manchester United pick. So there was no reason for me to be going and picking anyone else, to be honest. You can't afford Cancelo, Walker or Shaw. I don't think Walker's that nailed, to be honest. I think there's a lot of their centre-backs that can play there, which allows transition for the likes of Cancelo if they play a centre-back at right-back or left-back. So I quite like Shaw over the first 3. And then you can also, if you do that, you can then evaluate which of those Manchester City defenders are going to be the one that is going to start and is going to start consistently. So I would probably start with Luke Shaw. Oh no. I'm having a nightmare this morning. There we go. Having a nightmare. Sorry, my camera is... Things are not starting well. There we go. That's much better. Right. Right, it's not normally like this. For anyone who's new to the stream, it normally runs a lot more smoothly than that. Are we going to have any leak from leak lineups? So no, I don't think so. There's not maybe Spurs if you are waiting for a Tottenham leak. But apart from that, I wouldn't expect it to be anyone else. I think the way they work is it's unlikely to be anyone that isn't the early kickoff or maybe the second game. So if we're very lucky, we could get 3 o'clock news, but I'd be very, very surprised. So no, I don't think so. There were just a couple of dropped frames, but I think it's fine. 117 total. Fantastic. Would I start White or bench Trippier? So the reason I've got Trippier starting is Leicester are going to be without James Maddison today. So it looks like James Maddison is not going to be fit, and he is their main goal threat or their main creator at the moment. So I don't really think they're going to look that great without him. So personally, I will want Trippier in my team. It's a pretty close call, but I think the attacking threat that Trippier has, plus there's no Maddison for Leicester, means I just about favour Trippier. I wouldn't go and be annoyed if any of you wanted to go and start Ben White in your lineup, but yeah, I think it's Trippier for me today. Will Leeds Rodrigo play or injured? Leeds Rodrigo is a really nice option, and I actually think he's going to be very popular in a few weeks' time. He's likely to start keeping that striker spot for Leeds. So it's worth keeping an eye on him. I don't think I would start with him, especially because they're not predicted to have any double game weeks as well coming up. So I don't think I'd start with him, but he is one that I think a lot of us will be looking at and keeping an eye on as well over the next few game weeks, especially if he continues to play up front. Trossard on Mount. I like Mount, and listen, every video I've posted there's been Mount slander and Mount hate in the comments, and let me explain the Mount pick. So basically, my team is there's a very strong template right around the team. I'd probably say my lineup without Mount and without Saka is very template, and then it's what you do with those two other spots that you've got in your starting lineup. Mount with Bournemouth, Forest, Fulham, Palace in his first floor plus Man City, I think is worth taking the gamble, given that I've got good team value and I'm quite happy to upgrade the likes of Almiron to go and get Mason Mount. I do not think he's a fantastic pick. I do not think he's a great FPL asset, but just short term over those fixtures with the double, being the most nailed Chelsea attacker over the Christmas fixtures is just too good for me really to turn down. So that's why he's in there at the moment. If you guys haven't already, please make sure to like the stream. There's over 700 of you in here, and just 60 likes. So if you could hit that like button, that would be great. Amazing that you all managed to find your way back to me after I had to end the stream. It is the worst thing I can possibly do, but I appreciate you all sticking with me and finding a way back after I had to end it first time around. So Kepa or Pope. So again, we're gonna talk Kepa quite a lot, I think, in this stream. Basically, again, my thoughts on Kepa is 4.5 million. He's starting for Chelsea. The fixtures are there for them. But long term, he was good before, but he is, if you had a Chelsea goalkeeper at any point for 4.5 million, you wouldn't turn it down. And the other reason is, if you look at the likes of Pope, if you look at the likes of Ederson, if you go for them, the chances are you're never going to play Danny Ward. And the whole issue we had in the first half of the season is that we just didn't play Danny Ward enough in our teams. I just had him on my bench for like the whole of this time, which I don't want to do again. So if I go and upgrade Kepa to Ramsdale or Ederson, I'm just never going to play Ward, which I don't want to get myself into a position where I'm doing that personally. So yes, a very, very quick reminder that we are raising money during the month of December for a charity called Action for Children. 100% of all your donations, super chats, memberships goes to charity, and then 50% of the ad revenue. So if you just donate and just watch the videos, that is again contributing to a great cause this December. But of course, anyone joining as a member or anyone donating super chats, there will be. I know there are a couple of super chats in the last stream which I did miss, and if you guys want to drop me a message on Twitter, I will go back and answer those as well. You're excited for the layout, but I have been blown away. Insane. Appreciate it, Magic. I glad you're liking it. The lighting is really weird. It looks very dark, but anyway. Walker or Ake. Personally, I if I had to pick one, I'd go with Kyle Walker. I'm just not sure I would. I'm not sure I see either of them being nailed enough to be wanting to be backing and starting in my lineup consistently over a Christmas period, which is going to be very rotation prone. I would prefer the likes of Luke Shaw, to be honest. If you can afford a Kanji, I'd probably go there, but yeah. Darshan, put it in the chat here and I will get to it. If I'm looking to make a differential draft, and my opinions due to poor team value have boiled down to sacrificing one of KDB or Cancelo to make up funds, who would I chop and why? Well, I don't know how many other premiums you have, but I'm not sure. Cancelo's an interesting one. A lot of people decided to go without him. I probably would choose him as the way to save money, to be honest. Especially if De Bruyne is only your second premium. If De Bruyne is your third premium, then maybe him. But Nketiah. So actually, we saw some quotes posted by Fabrizio Romano this morning about Nketiah and about Arteta's thoughts on Nketiah, and it actually makes me quite tempted to go and buy him. Their opening fixtures are not as amazing as they could be, so I'm quite happy with Saka again, who's likely to be on penalties. But if you're looking for a forward and you can go and buy Eddie Nketiah, then that's absolutely fine. I think he could be a really, really nice option for the early points in parts of the season. Would I downgrade Mount or Saka? Downgrade Mount or Saka. Listen, if that was me, I'd probably downgrade Saka. Not because I think Mount's a better pick, but I think Mount's got better upside. I think is it. I'm chancing it on him. And I completely understand. All in all, things are flowing well this morning. There we go. Sorry, thank you for the super chat, LT. Again, 100% of that £9 will go to charity. You've stuck by Kane since the very first game. Yeah, Kane's a big talking point. When a lot of people have avoided him and it's now the second highest scorer, you believe it's time to move on from him and go KDB or Salah instead. I personally think it's time to be moving off of him. And there are a few reasons for this. Firstly, the 4 yellow cards bit is quite annoying for Harry Kane. Him being on 4 yellows is not ideal. Which instantly makes me think I'm not going to chance it on Kane getting a yellow card and being suspended. So the other points are Kulusevski becomes a very nice option. First of all, normally it's the only option we can go to is Kane. Kulusevski looks really nice. So, replacing Kane and going with Kulusevski to cover it, I think works really well. And the opening fixtures are not as good for Spurs. I know they've got a double in 20, but you can easily get to Kane then. But I think for the first 3, I'd rather be going elsewhere. Kulu and Walker or Cancelo and Almiron. Cancelo and Almiron, I think. Lots of players are on 4 yellows though. Not that many that we want to own. So Mitrovic is the other one. Mitrovic is on 4 yellow cards. It's also yellow flagged, which means it's put a lot of people off. Those two things combined, it's put a lot of people off wanting to go with him. So De Gea and Wilson or Kepa and Havertz. I wouldn't go with Kepa and Havertz. I'd go Kepa and Wilson, to be honest. Yeah, Kepa and Wilson would be the combination that I'd choose. I know it's not exactly the options that you gave me. If I had to pick, I wouldn't go Havertz. Ross, but thank you again for the super chat. That will all, of course, be going to charity. You tried the same team. It's giving you -4, -0.6. Yeah, so my team value is quite high. So a lot of people have been like, "Oh, Harry, I can't afford this team." Yeah, my team value, squad value is quite high. So don't worry, if you can't afford it. Just mount to Almiron is probably the most simple move, or Saka to Nketiah and play a 3-4-3. There are a lot of very easy ways to go and afford a very similar team. I wouldn't worry. You will have Kulu over Mount. Ignore the first Chelsea double. Keeping in mind with Kulu in Spurs are on fire. So I might end up with Kulusevski, but the thing with my team and the thing with a lot of the teams that we're putting together at the moment is pre-game week 19, we'll have 2 transfers, and there's basically nowhere that I look at my team and think I need to use the transfer there, which means I'm quite happy to start without Kulusevski. And if things happen like that and I have a spare transfer, I might bring Kulusevski in going into that game week. So yeah, I'm gonna wait and see on it, but I do sort of have a backup plan of going to Kulusevski in game week 18 or 19, either for Mount. Sorry, 19 or 20, either for Mount or for Saka as well. So yes, I am eyeing up that Kulusevski double. Of course, I've got no Fulham, but I do have triple Chelsea for that first for that double. So, is it just me, or have people switched from 3-4-3 to 3-5-2? I hope that I did a little bit in doing that. If I go through why that is, basically a 3-4-3 allows you a bit of a better bench. I get it, but a lot of the good options are in midfield, and actually, I don't think we need to have a Fulham player in our team going into game week 19. I don't think their fixtures in the double are good enough for us to be, turning over our teams to fit Pereira or Mitrovic in. So with that in mind, I'm quite happy to be starting with a 3-5-2. When we get to the doubles in game weeks, 20, game week 21, game week 22, then all the options that we're going to want are in midfield. They're all in there. The likes of Trossard, the likes of Zaha, the City guys, the Arsenal doubles. If they do all come in, then we're all going to want them. So yeah, I am pretty happy with the fact that a 3-5-2 with the midfielders and not having that extra bench is the way to go. If you haven't already, guys, if you could hit that like button, that would be fantastic. If you could drop a like on the stream, that would be amazing. It should also not be lagging anymore as well. So I appreciate it. Thank you also, Prithav, for joining back as a top tier member. That, of course, will be going to charity during this month. Good morning, Nuclear. How are we doing? So why Salah over KDB? Again, I think De Bruyne from game week 20, the doubles is a fantastic pick, but I'm planning on waiting and seeing on whether I want to go with Foden or whether I want to go with Kevin De Bruyne in my team. And if I start with one, it makes it very, very difficult to go and buy the other one. I think there's rotation for particularly Foden over the first 3, but if it shows up that I go and it's Foden that I want, then I can easily get to him. But if it is De Bruyne that I want, I can easily go Salah to De Bruyne in game week 20 when he has his double and go and have De Bruyne. So it basically buys me a little bit of time going with Salah over De Bruyne and actually not having that extra Manchester City player, and I can go and decide when the doubles do come around which of them it is that I'm gonna which for them it is that I'm gonna want to have in my team. So yes, Saka or Mount. Saka is a better option. Mount is a punt with a lot of potential upside. Is basically where I'm at with it. I'm chancing on Mount. If I had to pick one as a sensible pick, it would be Saka over Mount. It would be Martial. It would be a lot of these guys. But I am chancing Mount on the first 4 fixtures plus having a double in there. Yes, the double is Manchester City. Yeah, I get that. It's not a good double for him. However, yeah. Yeah, I it's not a great double, but I am chancing it. Are the bits in the top? Oh, they're not changing. Oh, honestly. Someone just said, "Oh, I really like the fixture graphic." It shouldn't just be a fixture graphic. Oh, give me a sec. Oh, it's not working. Anyway, Kulu, I will try and do both of these at the same time. Kulu or Almiron, I'd go to Almiron if I could. No, yeah, I'd go to Kulu if I could, but Almiron's a fantastic pick. The money is a big thing there. What else you could do with it? Tony or Wilson. So I'd definitely go Wilson. The Tony thing is confusing. We basically don't know when he's going to get suspended or not, if it's going to come out at all. So just start with Wilson, who's got a great run of fixtures as well. Start Bueno or Martial. The whole thing has just disappeared. There we go. Oh, these things are going so well. Things are going so well this morning. We should be back. We should be back. And hopefully it's changing as well now. Hopefully it's changing as well. Let me just check. Yeah, there we go. Cool. Your screen has gone blank. Don't worry, we're there. Zaha, Almiron. Zaha, Almiron, I'd go with Almiron and Saka or Martinelli. If you have the money for if you have the money for Saka over Martinelli, they're great. But there's a lot of value tied up in Martinelli for a lot of us. I think he's great value. But if I think who's going to score more points between now and the end of the season, then it's going to be I think it's going to be Saka. Why Greenwood in my team on the bench? Just because he's the cheapest forward. He's likely to get a few minutes occasionally for Leeds. I don't think he's going to be a consistent starter, but he's just going to sit last on my bench. You feel for me. I appreciate it, but hopefully we're back. And hopefully there's nothing else that's going to go wrong during this stream as well. Is there a risk going without Cancelo? Absolutely, but he hasn't necessarily shown the attacking threat that he needs to. He hasn't really shown the attacking threat that he needs to be a consistent sort of point scorer and worth the value that we're having to pay for him. So I don't hate going against Cancelo. But I am not going to do it myself. So, is Walker nailed? No, he's not. And would I pick him or Akanji? I'd probably pick Akanji, to be honest. I think Akanji started the last 6. Yes, there were injuries in that centre-back line, but I do think he's the one that I'd be going with, to be honest. But the stream is back up and running. Everything is running a little bit more smoothly, I think, unless it's lagging now. 359, fine. Play a front three with Martial or a mid five with Mount. I just like the punt on Mount over Martial, just with the extra fixtures, just with, like, if Martial only starts 2 of the first 3 and Mount starts, like, all 4, you straight away, it's very difficult to have a case of why you'd go Martial over Mount. I just think the nailedness of Mount is why I'd go there. Is Kepa Defo starting? For me, I can't see as a Chelsea fan Kepa not starting for us. I think he's going to be the one that goes in goal. Potter likes a goalkeeper that is good with the ball at his feet. He plays with it well, so I think it's going to be him. Ings or Martial? Yeah, it would be Martial. I know a few people are looking at Ings because he did finish the first half quite well. We might be looking at him, but and I don't hate it as a differential pick, but I'm just thinking I would probably favour sticking with Martial. That Manchester United team I expect to come back and click pretty well. So yeah, have money only for one of Mount or Saka. So again, listen, this is it. I can't back going for Mount over Saka really on anything apart from a hunch. So I like Saka as the pick longer term better than I like Mason Mount as a pick. But I don't. But that is what Mason Mount is to me. He is a punt. He is a hunch that he's going to do well over the next few, and he's got those doubles. He's got the double in game week 19, and he might double again in game week 21 as well, which again will be fantastic if I have him for that. So yeah, I'm quite happy to go with Mount. If I had to recommend one for you, I would go Saka over Mount, but there's not that much to pick between them, basically. Not that much to pick between them. If I had to pick one, safely, it would be Mount. It would be Saka. But if you want to punt on the doubles, then it would be Mount. Right. Sorry, I was trying to do something at the same time. Good morning, everyone. How are we doing? Sorry, I am back fully. If you could like the stream as well, that would be fantastic. What do I think of Mitrovic? So, given that he's on 4 yellows, given that he's yellow flagged as well, I just don't think we need to start with him. If you do want to go with Mitrovic, I wait and see that he's going to be back for the double and he doesn't get booked in game week 18 as well, given he's on 4 yellows. And 1 more yellow would mean he misses an additional game. So, yeah, I would wait and see on him. I would wait and see on him. All in all, things are not going well for me this morning. And Cuckoo is going to be the beast. Yeah, so signing for Chelsea, really nice option. When he comes into FPL, I think he'll be very popular. He's meant to be a top player. Very happy with that signing. Very happy. Edouard, I wouldn't go for him up front. That Palace team rotate their strikers way too much, so I wouldn't be looking at him. Do I think having both Rashford and Martial is a bad idea? No. I expect that Manchester United team to come back ticking pretty well, especially without Cristiano Ronaldo there. So yeah, I quite like the Martial pick, and I wouldn't think that you shouldn't do it if you've got Marcus Rashford in your team as well. Martial or Trossard? It's close. Trossard has got 2 difficult games in the next 4 is the only thing, so I probably would just about favour Martial out of those 2. Short term, I think he's a better pick. Zaha, good. Yes. Zaha's fine. He missed a penalty in game week 16, which means I just don't want to have... I don't really want to have him, but yeah. He's not a bad pick. The opening 2 fixtures are good. Ashraf, thank you for joining as a channel member. welcome. Of course, your membership will go to charity during the month of December. So again, thank you for supporting a great cause called Action for Children. All memberships, all donations, super chats, all of that goes to goes to charity during December. Should I have Odegaard, Saka and Martinelli all in your team? I think there are enough other options in there that I wouldn't do all three. Odegaard is an interesting pick as well. He's been pretty good. I can't put you off going with him, but I don't think you need all three. I think that is a little bit of overkill. Saliba and White together bad. Again, there are enough good defenders that I don't really think you need to have a double up on the Arsenal defence, personally. Do I think Almiron can pick up where he left off? Listen, I think Almiron is still going to be one of the best value players in the game. Newcastle will create a whole load of chances, and if Almiron is playing in that team, he is likely to get chances as well. So I wouldn't be put off by Almiron returning to form or not. He's going to be in a team that is going to, create a lot of chances. So don't be put off. Don't be put off by that. You have activated wildcard, so everyone is on unlimited transfers. Anyone who's unaware of this, the whole game is on unlimited transfers until the deadline hits at 11, so you can make as many changes to your team as you want. So make a team again set up for the upcoming the upcoming game weeks. Bruno for the first 3 games. Again, I don't dislike the Bruno Fernandes pick at all. I just prioritise Rashford over him, but if you're wanting Rashford and then going for Fernandes, again, that's absolutely fine. Rashford is still number 1 Manchester United pick though. Bruno and Kepa or Mount and Pope. Bruno and Kepa easily. Bruno and Kepa easily for me. Wilson or Nunes. If you can afford Nunes, I think he's there. A lot of people are worried about the level of Darwin Nunes' finishing. And I get that, but yeah, I get that his finishing hasn't been good, but it's not historical that his finishing isn't good enough. It's not historical that his finishing hasn't been good enough. So don't let the couple of games you've seen recently and him being poor at finishing put you off going and buying him, because I think he is still a great option to be going with long term. He'll get chances in that Liverpool team. Mahrez for a short term punt. I don't think I'd do it. If I was punting on a Man City mid, it would be Foden. I just don't think I'd punt on Mahrez. We've seen it with Mahrez too many times as FPL managers. Glad you're back. It's 2:30 AM here. Could I rate your team? Sure. De Bruyne, Saka, Rashford, Almiron, Haaland, Nunes, Martial. I mean, there's no defence or goalkeeper there, but I imagine it's pretty similar to what everyone is going with. And that's very nice. It's a 3-4-3. Again, it's quite template. There's a lot of people lining up with a very, very similar team to what you've got there. But listen, I can't put you off any of the picks that you've got in that team. Brighton. So if you're going Brighton, for me, people have spoken about Pascal Gross. I would probably be going with Trossard or none of them, to be honest. Is probably where I'm looking at. Trossard is likely to be playing up front for them going into this week as well against Southampton, which is great. So yeah, chances of 90% of Liverpool's goals are going from Salah or Nunes, given injuries. They're a good combo. Yeah, I agree. And I don't plan on owning the double up for ages, because I'll probably sell Salah to go and get Kevin De Bruyne at some point. But for now, I'm happy with these guys for the first 3. New stream looks amazing. Thank you very much. Thoughts on Wilson? Yeah, Wilson's really nice. I think he's only started to gain sort of momentum as a good pick over the past few weeks and the past few days even. And I don't quite understand why. He was playing for Newcastle. He does have the potential to haul in him. So I think Wilson's a really nice pick. Dalot, we don't know if Dalot's fit, and I don't think he's going to be available for this game. He could be. We basically didn't hear anything yes or no in the press conference, like it wasn't even mentioned. So how much do I have left in the bank? Like 0.1 million, virtually nothing. This team stretches even my high squad value to the absolute limits. So yeah, 0.1 million spare on this team. I don't think I'm going to change it now. I'm pretty happy with this. I'm pretty happy with this. You don't have enough money for Mount. Any suggestions? You've got 6.4 left. Like straight, it's just Almiron. Do not think, oh, I can't have Mount. I'm having to have Almiron in your team. Almiron in that Newcastle attack is a great pick. Do not worry about that. Do not worry about it. Triple Newcastle is fine. The only thing is they're not predicted to have a double game week anytime soon, which does sway it slightly more for me to potentially move away from one of those. A double up is fine, but like if you've got Wilson and Almiron, again, that's fine short term, but game week 19 when they play against Arsenal, you might want to look to sell one of them to Mitrovic or Pereira again just for that double. Is the only thing that would put me off going with triple Newcastle, especially attacking wise. If it's double defense, again, that's fine. You might want to trade Botman or Pope for a Kepa or a other cheap defender, but LT, your graphic says Salah plays against Liverpool. I believe it's just the fixture, right? Yeah, sorry, it's the fixture. You've got the home and away team. Like Haaland is Leeds, Man City. It's the fixture rather than who they've got in the next two. Because for captaincy, there would be no point in me telling you who they play next week. So yeah, guys. Again, if we could, drop a like on the stream. 1,000 watching on YouTube and almost 500 watching on TikTok as well. Good morning, everyone. Everyone excited to have FPL back. I am sure today is going to be a great day of football. I'm sure my family is thrilled that they're going to sit with me and watch all the football. I still having that debate about which of the 3 o'clock games I'm allowed to watch, or if any of them. My sudden silences are hilarious. Sorry, so I read a chat and I read something in the chat and it makes me panic. Sorry, Kane or Darwin. I think Darwin's worth the saving for the short term. You can always go back up to Kane in the double if that's what you really want to do. But I like Darwin short term. He's going to get a lot of chances. Would I target the double game weeks or good defenses and defense? The defense, I'm targeting more defenders. I'm quite happy to hold for a long time. So James, Trippier, Cancelo, White are defenders and defences that I'm very confident in and I think will be good for a reasonable amount of time as well. So pretty happy with both of them. Saka in now. Yeah, I'm quite happy with Saka for the first two. So actually, I don't know if I can show you what it looks like. Cool. Where's the... Oh, here. I can show you what my team will look like. And this is let's create a new plan. Let me just build my team very quickly. So this is a site called planfpl.com. So it just basically allows you to see... Let me select replacement. Who's in here? Oh, Saka's already in. Mount in my midfield. Mount, Rashford, Salah, Martinelli, Saka. Out comes Solanke. My team actually didn't change that much from what it was before. Stream looks super nice. Good work. Thank you, guys. I appreciate it. I'm glad you like it. Apart from it killing my internet, it's pretty good. I'm liking it quite a lot. Let me just build this and then need to put on. You don't want to hear me. You don't want to hear me clicking. There we go. Greenwood in here. It is select replacement. Reece James in. Castagna out. And Ben White in. Where's White? And then finally, sorry, bear with me. Man United's defenders, yeah, I like Luke Shaw quite a lot. He'd probably be the one that I go with because I'm not sure who else is actually going to be fit for the first game back. But Luke Shaw would be the one that I go with. Patterson is fine. I don't love it. He could have a double in Game Week 20. He's also guaranteed to play in Game Week 21 double. He's also guaranteed to play in Game Week 25, which is going to be a blank game week. And you're not going to want a free hit. No, not many other teams are actually guaranteed to play in that week yet. So this is, of course, how I line up this week. It's saying I'm 0.1 short because I'm buying Ben White at a higher price than I bought him for. Because I bought him the first day when his price went up. So next week, this would be what my team looks like. Again, I'm pretty happy with it. I don't think I'll need to make a transfer. I think like a lot of us will roll our transfer going into game week 18. Unless, we've got Kepa in goal. We've got Kepa in goal. Ariza Balaga. So next week, fine. 19 comes around and we've got 2 transfers. Again, like I've got a lot I could do with this. I might start, Patterson, or I could just keep it the same. I've got 3 Chelsea doublers. I am also eyeing up that week to do Saka into Kulusevski. So a few of you guys saying in the chat, you don't have any Chelsea, that's fine. I might do that because then he's got Palace and then a double game week. And then the double game week comes around and it'll basically be, okay, do I want Foden or do I want De Bruyne? Because Salah to De Bruyne makes my life very easy. But if I decide that Foden is the one that I want, I will do like Mount to Foden after Mount doubles. Selling him before Palace is fine. And then to free up the money, I'll probably sell Darwin because he has Brighton, Chelsea in the next 2. And I'll keep Salah anyway, so I've still got Liverpool cover in attack. And then I can downgrade this to I don't know. There's a few options in there. But anyway, where were we? Super chats from Aman. Almiron or Odegaard, have to bench one of them. I'd start Odegaard this game. I'd start Odegaard this week. What's our lineup for this week? Reece James or no? Yeah, so this is my lineup for this game week. Thank you both for the super chats. Again, we've raised £15 for charity during this live stream. If you guys want to donate, super chats on YouTube are the easiest way to do so. But also if you join as a member, either of the 2 tiers you've got above, there are the benefits there. Tier 1 gets you all the stream benefits and Tier 2 gets you added to the group chat with myself where we talk about FPL and your teams all throughout the week, and I answer questions all throughout the week rather than just during a live stream. And they haven't changed again for a while for some reason. Cool. Any reason for Salah over De Bruyne? Yeah, so the big thing for me on Salah over De Bruyne is it allows me to decide where I want to go in terms of Foden or De Bruyne closer to the double with a little bit more information. I think they are both good picks, but on their day, Foden is a better FPL asset than De Bruyne because of the value and because I'm never going to captain him. I'm never going to captain De Bruyne because I've got Haaland in my team. So Foden is a better option, and I'm leaving the door open a little bit that Foden comes back to be a good option. So, yeah, that's basically my thinking on it. Thoughts on moving Haaland for Chris Wood? Very good. No chance. Darwin and Andreas or Greenwood and Fernandes? Darwin and Andreas or Greenwood and Fernandes? Basically, I'd go Darwin. I'd go the Darwin option out of those 2. Yeah. Start Ben White over Almiron this week or no? No, I'd still, unless you've got someone amazing, I would be starting Almiron. Just the upside and the ceiling for Ben White's not good enough, so I don't think I'd really want to be playing him too much, to be honest. So really, Kepa not playing today. Kepa plays tomorrow, so please reduce the amount of. I know it's a joke, but thoughts on Havertz? Havertz is fine. I just, again, Potter rotates the attack way too much. And Aubameyang, although he's not been good, is still an option. He is still there. So I don't think I would do Havertz. Mount is nailed, but the attacking threat is less. So it's fine either way. I'm going Mount. Again, the squad structure is better with a midfield 5, I think. Cheaper alternative and forward line, please. Nketiah. Or you can go with Martial. Probably one of those two, to be honest. Probably one of those two. Probably one of those two. Will Perisic play? Nuclear, chill. Thoughts on Ward, Prowse? Again, there's a lot of talk about Southampton because their fixtures are so good. But I'm just not backing them because they're Southampton. Like, people are going with Chaël up front, Ward Prowse, Perraud, but there are better options at their prices playing for teams that have performed for the majority of this season. So I wouldn't be going with any Southampton players in your team, to be honest. Thoughts on Akanji? He's probably the Man City defender I would go with if I had to pick one that wasn't Cancelo. But I don't like having to pick one that isn't Cancelo. We are also 44 subscribers away from 500 over the 40k. Again, thank you all so much for the 40k subscribers. If you guys are, jumping in and out of streams, absolutely fine. But if you guys could just smash that like button, that'd be amazing to get a reminder for when I do streams or when I do 3 videos a week as well. Foden or Kulusevski? I'd probably start with Kulusevski. Brentford away on the first day is the only thing that puts me off because I think Foden will probably outscore him this week. But from next week, I think it's different. But you could start with Foden this week and then move if it doesn't look like Foden's nailed. So maybe I say Foden if you've got the money. Maybe I say Foden if you've got the cash spare. Is Nketiah a good option? Will he start? He should start. Arteta's actually said some very nice comments about him. It was posted by Fabrizio Romano on Twitter, just basically saying how much he trusts him. Here, so this is the quotes from Arteta posted by Fabrizio. So you've got more faith in Eddie every single day because we see every day what he brings to the team, or he is as human, and the way he's developing as a player. He's ready. This is why he signed his contract. He's a key player in our squad. So again, it is only positive things on Nketiah. He's 6.5 million. He's a very nice option up front if you guys are looking for forwards. Yeah. Very nice option if you are looking for forwards. At 6.5. Will Walker start? Probably, but I can't confirm he is. I don't have any City team news. If I had to predict the Manchester City defence, I would go Walker, I'd go Laporte, Akanji, and I would go Cancelo is my prediction for the defence. But outside of Cancelo, I think it's a pretty difficult one to predict. What I think of this midfield: Mount, Trossard, Rashford, and Bruno Fernandes with Kane, Haaland, Wilson. Mount, Trossard, Rashford, and Bruno. Yeah, of course there's no Salah. Like, I just don't think Kane is a better option than Salah. I don't. So that's the change that I would of course make. But Mount or Zaha, Mason Mount, I think. Does Havertz start? Yes, I think he starts. Yes, I think he starts this game. How long he starts, how many games he plays, I don't quite know. I still think he's rotation prone, but with the way Potter does his forward line. But you're going with a no Cancelo with triple Man City attack. Oh, triple up of Haaland, Foden, and Ederson. So if you've got Edison, close your ears now because you're not necessarily going to love this, but I just don't think Edison is worth it. I really don't think Edison is worth 5.5 million when you've got Danny Ward and Kepa throwing themselves at us at the value that they are providing. Edison is great. Like, he'll keep clean sheets. You've got doubles coming up. Like, I get the reasoning behind it, but he's not good value. And that is what you need in a goalkeeper. You need value. When you're picking a goalkeeper, the things you look at when you're in a defensive or midfield goes slightly different. You need value when you're looking in goal. And he does not offer that value. Che Jordan, thank you very much for the super chat. Again, of course, we are raising money for charity during December. Super chats, joining as a member, plus you get all the membership benefits as well, but all the money you donate is also going to charity as well. Plus the membership is cheaper than, I'm sure, most super chats as well. We've got the 2 tiers there as well. The premium in the $4.99 and $1.99 for the base tier. Martinelli, Bueno or Andreas, or Saka, Williams, Silva. Option one. And the other thing, I suppose, with the memberships, and I hope the members agree, is that I try to explain my reasoning behind stuff rather than just giving you answers. I've tried to, sort of teach, not just like say, I'll do this with your team, do that with your team. Try and help you understand why I make certain decisions or what my thought process is, rather than just, rather than just telling you what to do with your team. Try and improve sort of general decision making. This is going to be my final draft, I think. Saka's the only one I'm not 100% sure on. But those comments on Nketiah are positive. They are positive. Saka or Wilson? Saka, if you can afford him, I think. Again, midfielders outperforming forwards generally. Thanks, Mitchell. I appreciate it. Will Kepa start? Yeah, I think Kepa will start. You've got White over Gabriel just because I can't afford Gabriel. If I had the money for Gabriel, I would have him, but I don't, so I can't be going and having him. Can I rate Saka, Mount, Foden and Kulu from best to worst? From actual best to worst or best to worst, we picking at the moment. It is Mount, Saka, Foden, Kulu in that order for this week to be having in your team. I think is probably the way I'd rank them. Is probably the way I would be ranking them. What I think of Almiron, yeah, really nice option, great value pick. Cannot put you off going with Miguel Almiron. Will Walker start? I think he probably will, but I do not know for certain. Nketiah was very clutch for us at the end of last season. He's no way near as technical as Jesus, but he's a great presser and can get goals. I agree. I think Nketiah is a good option. He presses well. I think he'll do well for Arsenal. We are just 37 subscribers away from our target for this stream. And then I won't have to mention it ever again in this stream. And yeah, don't forget to like if you have not already. Follow, subscribe, like, all the useful bits. Am I locked in? I'm pretty much there. Again, when I'm on a stream, I rarely have time to look at my own team, even if I'm streaming for 2 hours. So chances of this changing, I think, are pretty slim. How many transfers have I made? Not that many. It's about 7, I think. 7 changes I think I made. I had Salah, I had Martinelli, I had Haaland, I had Trippier, I had Cancelo, I had Ward. I think the rest has changed. How can I afford this lineup? So my team value is quite high. Yeah, my team value is pretty good. So, yeah. I have 0.1 million in the bank with it as well. Martial to Greenwood and Almiron to Saka. Good moves. It depends how many of them you need to start. If you're having to bench one of Martial Almiron every week, then yes, it's good. If you need both of them to start, then no, I suppose is the question. How many of them do you need in your starting lineup every week? Do I think Saka and Almiron versus Mount and Martial? I'd probably go Mount, Martial out of those two. I'd probably go Mount, Martial out of those two. What is my budget? I don't actually know what my full team value budget was, but it was pretty good. I could remove them all and we could see how much we've had to spend. We could remove them all and we could see how much we've had to spend. 101.9 of actual money to spend. So I suppose 2 million more than I had at the start of the season. Let's just refresh that so I don't go deleting it. Martial versus Nketiah is quite a good question, actually. I personally would probably just about favour Martial based off the opening 3 fixtures. But if you're not going to have a transfer to use between them and you're going to need your transfers elsewhere, then start with Nketiah, because when game week 21 comes around, you will want Nketiah over Martial. It just depends whether you think with your team you'll be able to make the switch from one to the other. But short term Martial, but generally I would pick Nketiah out of the two. One of the other reasons that, again, if we put in, this is a rotation planner, it will tell us the best rotation. If we go Leicester and Chelsea for the foreseeable future, we go defensive. The rotation between Kepa and Ward is very good. Bournemouth, Forest, then the double, then Forest, Brighton, Fulham, West Ham, Southampton. Game week 25 is difficult. We've got Arsenal at home for Ward and Spurs away for Chelsea. Fine. Southampton or Leeds in 26, then maybe Leicester. Chelsea is the fixture in 27. Then Everton, Villa, Wolves, Brighton. Or Everton, Villa, Bournemouth, Brighton even. It is the best rotation. The rotation between the two is really good. How do I raise my budget? So when you sell a player or you buy a player in FPL, they go up and down in price. And when you sell them, you get basically the money that they've gone up in price. So for every 0.2 they go up, your selling price goes up by 0.1. So you get half of the money you are making. Again, something hopefully I can, all my members have been hopefully taught well on. Hope you had a great Christmas, Harry and followers. I appreciate it. I had a lovely day yesterday, but again, always excited to have the football back. Mendy could win back his goalkeeper spot. I don't think so. For the foreseeable, I just think it'll be Kepa. But that's why you go with Ward. That's why you go with Ward, because you've got that backup if Kepa did for some reason lose his spot. Get your questions in the chat, everyone. Again, lovely to have you all in. Let me know in the chat who your big differential is. Do you have a player in your squad? I suppose for me it's Mount. On Twitter, Mount's quite highly owned now, but still only 6.8% owned. Who in your starting lineup is your... Who in your starting lineup is your big differential? Interested to hear who you guys are all deciding to go with. Kulusevski. Yeah, Kulusevski is quite a nice one. Again, with a doubling game with 20, although it is difficult, it's a double nonetheless. Sanchez or Ward. If you're not having Ward in your draft, please make sure you go and put him in. Please make sure you go and put him in. Saka or De Bruyne. There's a lot of value difference in them. De Bruyne probably. Kulusevski, Trossard. Trossard's a good one. I did think about having him in my team. If I couldn't afford Mount, for example, Almiron or Trossard would be the two players that I'd go with. Is McAllister a good differential after his World Cup performance? I don't think McAllister's going to be back anytime soon. He's too busy out celebrating in Argentina. So no, I don't think we're going to see McAllister starting for Brighton this game week, or probably not next game week as well. Rodrigo, again, a very nice pick. Very nice pick. Kane, yeah. Kane is Kane is a real interesting one. Let's see how he does this morning. I will be hoping that he does blank, but it's Harry Kane, and that rarely happens. I've just had no space for him. I don't know. I feel like as a community, we just agreed that we would just not pick Harry Kane, and that's what seems to have happened. That there's been an unconscious written rule that we've all gone, none of us can decide what premiums to own. So if none of us own Harry Kane, then there's only a limit to how bad it can go if Kane does well, because none of us have picked him. Of course, that didn't actually happen. We didn't say that was going to be the case, but news about Sir Maximin. Yeah, I think he's ruled out for a few games again. Yeah, Kane is on 4 yellows. That is the thing. I don't think Sir Maximin is going to be fit for this one. Who's the best striker if you can't afford Darwin? Probably Callum Wilson. Martinelli, Rashford, Mount, Saka. Who's the best 3 to own? I mean, I have 4 of those. I'd probably drop... I was going to say I'd probably drop Mount, but it's either Mount or Saka. Rashford and Martinelli are not going anywhere from my team. So I'd probably have to drop... Oh, sorry, yeah, Mount or Saka. And it just depends how much you want to punt on Mount. So if you want to punt on Mount, then Mount. If you think he's a bit of a risk, then Saka, I think, is probably the one to keep. So it's one of those two. Again, quick reminder that we are, of course, raising money for charity during the month of December. All super chats donated, all memberships joined, all of that goes to charity, or just the ad revenue as well from all my videos. So if you haven't subscribed already, make sure you subscribe so you do get that reminder of when I do go live, and you can watch those videos and help raise a little bit of money. We're up to over £400 raised this month as well. So I appreciate all of that support a lot. It's amazing the stream has held out so far. Stream has held out so far. Is a premium midfielder essential? No, but it just helps squad structure a lot. It helps squad structure a lot because you can't go selling, De Bruyne and going and buying Mo Salah in, for example. Oh, sorry, you can't go selling Kane to get Salah in or De Bruyne in. It just means you've got an extra transfer if you need to go and get a premium midfielder in. I think for squad structure, it's useful. I don't think it's essential if you are absolutely set on going with Harry Kane. But I don't think a one premium team is flexible enough, basically. Sanchez over Kepa. I understand, again, why you do it. The fixtures are not bad. The fixtures aren't bad. You'd have to play Ward next week, though, because there's a difficult fixture for them both next week. And then they basically both have a really nice run of fixtures. So you have 2 goalkeepers with nice run of fixtures. Kepa, Ward rotate a little bit better is the only difference. It's the only difference between them. Bruno Fernandes is really nice. If I could afford him, I would potentially look there. Yeah, I can't put you off going with Bruno. But it was him or Darwin. And Darwin, again, I needed some forwards to have, basically. Who would I downgrade if you couldn't have the money for my draft? Probably Mount or Saka would go. The likes of Trossard or Almiron would come in for one of them. Again, it just depends on which of the two you fancy as a better long-term punt, to be honest. No Newcastle, yes. I saw this in the chat earlier. I'd have no Newcastle attacker, and I do appreciate that it is a bit of a risk. They do, however, have Leicester away, Leeds, and Leicester away and Arsenal away in the first 3. Their game week 20 looks good, and 20 to 23 looks good, but they also don't double. So just a lot of things together meant that I just didn't think I necessarily needed one. They're good options, don't get me wrong, but good morning, Jen. How are we doing? Yeah, Hardy makes a good point. Remember to try and lock your teams in earlier. There are a lot of transfers being made this morning, I imagine. So leaving things too close to the deadline is probably not the best idea given the history of the servers. Thoughts on Luke Shaw? Would be my number one Manchester United defender to pick. Yeah, like him a lot. I did consider having him in my team, actually. He very nearly made it. Well, Dallo nearly made it, and then Dallo got injured. Doesn't look like he's going to play this week. So I then almost had him instead. But yeah, so Luke Shaw is a really nice pick. Would you go Lyle Tyler, third bench, less likely to drop in price? No, because Greenwood is going to get minutes. If anyone is buying a player at that price, it is Greenwood, because he does get minutes. Like, he's played in 3 of the last 4 games. So it's not going to be loads, but he is likely to get some minutes, and I'm quite happy with that with Christmas rotation, that he's likely to get, one point off the bench. He's got attacking returns as well, but don't expect that much from him. But I am just backing the slight minutes that he's going to get over any of the other 4.2s. Almiron or Rashford? Rashford, definitely. Rashford is one of the most nailed players in this team. If you told me to rip up this team and you could only keep 3 players, Rashford and Haaland would probably be the 2 that would definitely be kept. And Danny Ward, probably. Good morning, Lumi. How are we doing? Good morning, everyone. Again, I think we've hit our subscribe. Oh, we are actually just about 10 away from our best midfielder below 6.5, except Martinelli, Almiron. Or if you want double up, you go on Odegaard. I'm lagging again, am I? Ooh. Ooh. No. Okay, it stopped again. Yeah, so Almiron or Odegaard then being asked in the chat a minute later. If I could only buy one of Almiron or Odegaard, I'd probably just go straight to Almiron. For the children, thank you. Also, are we sleeping on Solanke? He's still so cheap for 90 minutes. I like Solanke, but not straight away. Their opening fixtures are not great. Have a look and ask yourself how many times you plan on starting Solanke in the next 3 game weeks, for example. What's my opinion on Ward-Prowse? I don't love him as an option just because the consistency of points and consistency of performances are not there from Southampton. What are my thoughts on Martial? Would another striker be better? I quite like Martial. Nketiah is the only other one that I would consider going with. Morning, Connor. How are we doing? Congratulations, by the way. I hope you have had a fantastic holiday and Christmas as well. Would I go Patterson to Dunk? Sure, if I could afford it. Yeah, I would. No, I'd keep. I'd probably go Dunk. Again, likely to double. Looks like the frame dropping has stopped. Cool. Let's get those rapid fire questions in. Robertson or James? James is probably better value. This is my team. Yes. Eddie Nketiah, yeah, he's a really nice pick. Especially at his price. Without Jesus, I think he could do really well. One of the players I kind of wish I had in my team, but I could drop Saka to him and play a 3-4-3. But I do think the minutes that Nketiah will get will be slightly less than Saka, because he'll sub off Nketiah and bring on Smith Rowe and play Martinelli up front or something like that. So yes. Is triple Manchester United worth it? Bruno, Rashford, Martial. It's a lot. It takes up a lot of spots. I don't think I would have triple, to be honest. I don't think I'd do triple. I think that's one too many. Again, the reason for it is game week 20 will come around and they've got a really tough run of fixtures starting that week. So yeah, when game week 20 comes around and they play City, Spurs, and then don't double, you won't want triple. So I don't think it's worth it short term. Why double midfield with Arsenal? I mean, they are top of the table for a reason. They've provided consistent points and they both offer really good value. Saka is potentially only for 2 weeks, and then I might look at Kulusevski depending on how Spurs look and how the Double looks. Almiron or Trossard. Again, it's very close. It depends what you could do with the money elsewhere. If you are just going to sit with the money in the bank, then probably Trossard. But if you are going to invest that money elsewhere, then Almiron. The Wi-Fi is not handling the new stream setup very well. Is basically what I've concluded. Let's hope the chat comes back in. There we go. There we go. It did freeze. Don't you feel that you're not gaining any points from City with this team? It is the only thing, but I don't know which of the midfielders I want, and I'm basically going to wait and see when the double comes around which of the midfielders I want. Is it Foden or is it De Bruyne? So that's basically what I've got to wait and see with them. Yeah, is it Foden or is it De Bruyne that I want? And I will make a decision once that becomes clearer, and then I'll double up going into the double game week. So Foden or Rashford. Rashford has to, I can't see people going without Rashford given the opening fixtures for Manchester United and the form that he's been showing as well. That's why I'm dropping frames, because all my stuff is connected to the Wi-Fi again. Cool. Wilson or Darwin Núñez. I'd probably go Callum Wilson versus Darwin Núñez. Núñez if you can afford him. Wilson is a perfectly capable replacement if you can't afford him. White or Castagna. White's best long-term defender, I think. Looking very nailed now as well. Is Kepa and Reece too much? Kepa and Reece is not too much. I quite like the... Sorry, Kepa and Reece. No, Kepa and Reece is not too much. I think they're both going to start as well. So yeah, I like them. I like them both quite a lot as picks. Sterling or Mount. I just can't back the price that you're having to pay for Sterling. Sterling's just too much for uncertain minutes and uncertain points. Well, basically you get the same with Mount. You get uncertain points, but you get slightly more assured minutes. So, yeah, for me it's pretty certain I'll be going with Mount over Sterling, and the price difference as well. Do we know he's going to blank in 25? No, but so Game Week 25 is the final of the EFL Cup. So Game Week 25 in there will be some blanks. With Mitra a doubt and only 7.2 million, is Martial the best option? Martial or Nketiah? It's very close between the two of them. So Game Week 25 is the one that's, again, likely to be a blank. It is predicted that it will be Manchester City against either Manchester United or Newcastle is the likely result, which means Manchester City Bournemouth is likely to be a blank, and then either Manchester United, Brentford or Brighton, Newcastle are likely to be the blanks that come in that week. Defender for 4.4. If you can afford Botman, is he 4.4? Then he's definitely the one that I would look at. He's definitely the one that I would go for. Almiron, KDB, Darwin, or Salah, Foden, Mount. Almiron, KDB, Darwin, or Salah, Foden, Mount. Salah, Foden. I think I just about prefer Salah, Foden, Mount. But even going without Foden and then going and getting Salah to De Bruyne in Game Week 20 works, because that's what I'm going to do. Is it worth me doing Ward to a cheaper goalkeeper to bring in Dunk for Patterson? No. No. Keep Ward. Ward is more important than that second goalkeeper. Edouard or Solanke? Edouard versus Solanke. I don't love either of them, but I'd go Solanke because at least Solanke's nailed. Edouard and that Palace forward line, I don't want a piece of that at all. Is Alvarez an FPL pick? No. To start with, he'll be away with Argentina celebrating for the next game week or two. And also he's not nailed as well. So, yeah. Mount or Zaha first two. If it's first two only, then maybe Zaha, but I don't really want to be booking in transfers. Yeah, it's a big no-no for me, booking in transfers. Is Adams a good long-term pick over Martial? No. If you want a long-term forward, because you don't want to go Martial, that's fine. But then it needs to be Nketiah that you're going for. He's the best other option that we've got. How many changes did I make? I think I made about 6. Less than I thought I would, actually. But a lot of the starters did change. What I think of Mitrovic, I don't think Mitrovic is going to be back fit. I don't think he's going to be available, or he's going to be on the bench. I don't think he's going to start this week. So, Trippier, De Bruyne, or Saliba, Salah? Saliba, Salah, or Trippier, De Bruyne? Trippier, De Bruyne. I don't love the Saliba pick, to be honest. I wouldn't go Saliba. He's just not worth the money. If you're going an Arsenal defender now and you don't have the value tied up in Saliba, then it's definitely not him. It's Ben White, or it's then Gabriel. It's one of those two. Foden, Mount, or Saka, pick 2. So like me, I drop Foden just because it allows you to look at Manchester City over the first few weeks and try and understand whether the best pick is likely to be De Bruyne or Foden, and then once you decided that, then you can go and buy the one you need to. Who would I prefer, Almiron, Odegaard, or Trossard? Almiron, Odegaard, or Trossard? Along with Mount, Rashford, Salah, and Martinelli as my 4 midfielders. I quite like Trossard. The only thing is there are a couple of difficult games in there for him. It depends if you need to start him in those difficult games. If you do need to start him in those difficult games, then it's not Trossard. I'd probably start with Odegaard, to be honest. Why not sit Mitra on the bench? I could do, and then play Almiron or something, and Saka to Almiron and Greenwood to Mitrovic is fine. But I like what this team allows me to do going forward. Is this my final squad? I'm pretty certain this is going to be my final squad. Yeah, Kane or Darwin? I'd probably go Darwin. I just think the value is there for him. Chris B, good morning, welcome. You're loving the new graphics. Thank you, I appreciate it. I think I've got everything working apart from the Wi-Fi speed, which is still dropping frames very occasionally, not very much anymore. But yeah, it is. I will have to, but I'm not here for very long, and I'll be back in London, so hopefully it's good enough there. Zaha or Trossard? Zaha or Trossard? I'd probably start Trossard. I'm not a big Zaha fan, just because, partly because he missed a penalty in game week 16. I don't really want him, but loving the new graphics. Thank you. Please apply Almiron or Martinelli. Martinelli if you can afford him. Martinelli if you can afford him, definitely. Salah or De Bruyne? So I like Salah because it allows me to wait and see what's going to happen with the Manchester City mids. If I want De Bruyne, or I can get away with having Phil Foden instead. So, will I sell Rashford in game week 20? It will depend completely on if I think, if I actually think Manchester United are a good team or not by then. Because if the game week 20 comes and it's looking like they're actually performing really well, I then don't mind. I then don't mind holding him until 20 to all the way here. They have a nice run. So I don't mind. I might sell him in 20, but I also may end up keeping him as well. I don't mind just having one of them. But that was part of the reason I didn't want to double up on that Manchester United attack, because from game weeks 20 and 21, the difficult games you've got for Rashford in there. Eggs Benedict or fry up not all day, but I do like others. But how much I have in the bank? Just 0.1 million, so virtually nothing with this team. Doesn't allow me to do that much, but there's plenty of areas I can downgrade if I do need to free up a little bit of money. Thank you all, by the way. We hit our subscriber target. We've also raised almost £30 for charity during this stream as well. All super chats are going to charity. So thank you all so much for that. It's great to be back. It's great to be back. You're not worried about 23 million into Liverpool attack. A little bit. But I won't have triple Liverpool attack in game week 20. It'll be one. One of them will go. I just like them being nailed over the Christmas period. It's about the only team that we've got. We've got like solid nailed attackers. Maybe Spurs as well. But the others are not that nailed. So yeah. Very happy because they basically have to start. They've got no one else that's really like consistently going to be available to play at a top level. No love for Rodrigo. So have I got the fixture ticket open? No, but I'll get it. Leeds I like, and Rodrigo, don't get me wrong, I think is a good pick. So if we have a look, I've been asked, but it's City and Newcastle in the first two. From this week onwards, like game week 19 onwards, he could be a really good option. And we might well be looking at him. But Man City and Newcastle, Man City at home and Newcastle away in the first two, it's just a no-go. It's just a no-go for me, given the other options that we do have in and around that price as well. Fernandes or Rashford? Rashford in before you go Fernandes. Just save the money. People will think, oh, they've got the money for Fernandes. Let's just go there. Rashford, I think, I don't think there'll be many points between the pair of them. And one is, 3 million cheaper? 3 million cheaper, basically. How much money in the bank right now? Yeah, 0.1. My thoughts on Kulusevski being a differential. Yeah, I quite like him. I am eyeing up Kulusevski in game week 19 or 20. Depending on how Saka gets on. Saka, Kulu or Foden. Saka probably to start with. Odegaard or Martinelli. Heard that. Yeah, so Odegaard's underlying numbers are actually better than Martinelli. It's a slight doubt about what Nketiah does to both of them. I don't hate going with Odegaard. I've just got a lot of value tied up in Martinelli. If I get it wrong and it ends up being Odegaard, it's much easier to go Martinelli to Odegaard than it is for me to go back the other way. So if you've got value tied up in him, I do just think it's still Martinelli. I do just think it's still going to be Martinelli. Your team is similar, but I have Foden and Martial instead of Darwin and Saka. Yeah, Darwin, those are nice moves. I like Martial quite a lot. Foden, I still yet to be sold on the amount of minutes I think he's going to get. I think he'll start this one. But I don't know if he's going to start all of them over Christmas. Because then they've got Chelsea in game week 19. So I think he'll start this. I'm not sure he'll start 18 is my concern though. Walker or Akanji to replace Cancelo. Akanji if I had to do it, but I also like Luke Shaw as a potential replacement as well. Is Kepa okay? Yeah, Kepa should be fine. He was back in training. It wasn't mentioned in the press conference or anything though, which is a bit annoying. There are some other quotes from it coming out tonight, which doesn't help anyone, but I think he should be fine. He's pitching in training for about a week and a half now, so I'm fairly happy with it. I think he'll be fine, and I also think he's going to start. There's a lot of doubt about whether Kepa's going to be first choice or not, but why triple Arsenal over triple Man United? Just because defensively I like Ben White for the long term, much more than I like the Manchester United defence for the long term. And then in midfield, I actually did consider going with Anthony of Manchester United. I did consider going Anthony at Manchester United over going for Saka. and punting on him for like a week or two game weeks or so. But I decided not to. Didn't think the risk was worth it. Darwin or Martial, got Salah already. If you can afford Darwin over Martial, then great. But it is depending on what you can do with the money around you. If you can do a lot with the money around you, then go for the cheaper option. But if it's face value, then I think Darwin is clear. I think Darwin is clear. James or Gabriel in defence. James for now until the double, and then you could always look to sell him if you don't fancy him long term. Adams or Edouard in the forward line. Adams, if I had to pick one of those two. I don't love both, but I definitely don't want Edouard. Suggest me over Odegaard or Almiron. Odegaard looks really good. His underlying numbers are really good, so I'd probably just about go him there. And he's likely to double in Gameweek 21 as well, which Almiron isn't. So you'll probably end up having to sell Almiron anyway. Who would I rather, Almiron or Odegaard over the next four? Yeah, so I'd probably just about go Odegaard over him if I had to pick between the two. I think Anthony is a better option than Foden. Well, I've gone Saka. I couldn't actually afford Foden. If I could afford Foden, I probably would be on Foden, but I can't afford him. And I don't think it's close enough. I think it's close enough that I don't need to go and downgrade elsewhere. So I don't need to go and, sell someone else. I'm quite happy not to have Foden yet. Why Nunes over Kane when Kane will have a double in Game Week 20? Because I can't afford Kane. I could go Saka down and go Darwin to Kane, and I could do that when Game Week 20 comes around, but he's on 4 yellow cards as well, so there is a possibility that he doesn't have a double in Game Week 20 as well. There's too much uncertainty, and the money not having him, given I'm never going to captain him, I just don't think Kane is worth it. The freemium doesn't work in terms of squad balance if you're never going to captain the third premium. You're not going to captain the second premium, let alone the third, because we're just going to captain Haaland every week pretty much. Except Game Week 19. Game Week 19 captaincy becomes interesting. Haaland has a single against Chelsea, whereas Chelsea and Fulham have the double, so why Greenwood likely to be the highest chance of playing of any 4.2 or cheaper forward. Koulibaly or Thiago Silva, I wouldn't really want either. I'd go Reece James, or I wouldn't bother, to be honest, in the Chelsea defence at the moment. What do I think about Havertz? Yeah, he's nice. Looks good in the double. Do I think he's nailed? No. Do I think he'll start Game Week 17? Yes. So again, it's just how many games you think he's going to start out of the first 4. So 3 game weeks, 4 including the double. I just don't think he's going to start more than a max 3. But he could easily start 3. A good midfielder for 7.8 million. Mason Mount, Leandro Trossard would be the 2 that I'd be looking at. What do I think about Havertz? Yeah, done that one. Martial or Mount or Saka. So this goes back to me saying Mount is a punt. Saka's technically a better pick, but Mount has bigger upside. So, liking the new graphics. Yeah, guys, let me know what you think. Also, put in the chat, are you just going to be captaining Haaland? What is your plan for this week? Is it simple captain Haaland? Is it simple captaincy on Haaland, or is anyone considering going elsewhere? And Game Week 20, you're going to do the same. What are my thoughts on keeping Almiron, or should I get Odegaard? If you've got value tied up in Almiron, I'd probably stay with him, because you might want to keep Almiron longer term. But if I had to pick one and there was no value tied up in it, and you could afford Odegaard over Almiron, I would. Thank you very much for the super chat. Of course, your $5 will go to charity straight after the end of December, once the charity month has ended. Carvalho for a punt? No. It might be... No. I know people think he's going to start for Liverpool, but I just don't think it's worth it. Who would I rather, Almiron or Odegaard over the next 4? So I'm going to just stick with Odegaard in this one. I'm getting asked it quite a lot. Odegaard or Martinelli? Probably Martinelli again. The set pieces are there for Martinelli as well, which does help. Saka and Almiron or Odegaard and Mount? Odegaard and Mount, probably. Because then you're covering off Saka a little bit by having Odegaard. So I quite like that. Thank you as well, everyone, for 40,000 subscribers. We are half an hour away from the deadline. Of course, during December, during this stream, during the other streams we got, and all the videos, we're raising money for a charity called Action for Children. 50% of all the video views, everything like that goes to charity, but 100% of if you join as a member, or donate through a super chat, 100% of that goes to charity. You have 6 points. Should I keep Almiron? Yes. If you've got 6 million, I think you mean. Why not Andreas? He just didn't fit into a 3-5-2. I think 3-5-2 is the best squad structure to be having. So, yeah, I think it's the best structure for us at the moment. I know it means we don't have any Fulham. It means the bench is very slightly weaker, but I think it helps the starting 11 a lot. And I think those midfielders where a lot of the points are going to be and a lot of the value and a lot of the assets that we want to own over the next few weeks, they will sit in midfield. No predicted lineups, and we're unlikely to get any team news between now and the deadline. I don't think. If you are waiting for team news, then I'd be surprised if we get it. Why have I started Trippier over White? So I think it's pretty close. I do have double Arsenal already in my starting lineup. So there is a clean sheet. I do get 2 clean sheet points there anyway. Trippier does have the attacking threat that Ben White doesn't have. Plus there is the issue for Maddison not going to start for Leicester. Brian, thank you for joining as your VC, as a vice captain manager. Welcome to the channel. Welcome to being a member. Again, that membership will go to charity during December. You will have your own emojis in the chat and you can start using those, but also every single one of your comments in the chat will get replied to. So welcome. Thoughts on Malacia? No, because Dalot won't be out for very long. He might start Malacia on the other side if he doesn't rate Wan-Bissaka, but it's Luke Shaw or no one in that Manchester United defence. I look really small. I do need to sit forward in this setup. Andreas or Ben White. If I had to play one this week, I'd probably play Ben White. Odegaard or Trossard. If you can afford Trossard, I'd probably go with him. Would I start with White or Almiron this week? Almiron. Foden or Saka? Saka until we know if Foden's a good enough pick or not. Will Martial play? Yes, should start. Should be pretty nailed on actually for Manchester United. Sorry, I was just checking if the stream chat was still working. Thoughts on Aubameyang? Absolutely not. Please don't go and buy Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang. Shaw and Ward or Patson and Edison? Shaw and Ward. I just don't think Edison is worth it. I just don't think Edison is worth the value that he's offering. Why is Ben White key or so popular? So the reason I like Ben White, is, I mean, to start with, He's one of the highest scoring defenders. He's the, what's that, 6th highest scoring defender and costs 4.7 million. He also has, you know, consistency of clean sheets. He's also got really nice fixtures sort of generally until game week 30, which is roughly when we'll want to play our wild card. Also likely to double in game week 21, does double in game week 23 as well. So, and I don't need him short term. So that's basically why I am going there. Try and hit 600 likes on and 8,000 likes on TikTok as well, guys. If you haven't liked or subscribed or followed or all of that, make sure to do so. Would I start White or Trippier? I'd go Trippier again. The Maddison thing is quite big for me, plus the attacking threat that Trippier's got, plus the amount of people that will have Newcastle defenders in their team. Arsenal will also be high. This is true. But I'm starting Trippier. Is Andreas in starting 11 a bad idea? No. But there's so many good options in our teams at the moment, and so many of them have good fixtures this week, that it makes me doubt a little bit who else is in your team. Makes me doubt a little bit who else is in your team. Zaha or Trossard? Straight Trossard. I just don't want Zaha in my lineup. I'm really sorry to anyone who's going and buying him. That penalty miss in game week 16 is still haunting me. Is still haunting me. Your value's tied up in Trossard. That's fine. Got him at 6.8 now. He's 7.1. I wouldn't mind starting with him if you do want to keep that value. A good fixture this week. Just there are a couple of difficult games in there for Brighton. So like Liverpool at home, but they're both at home, right? So they could easily get something in these. But it is 18 and 20 that I'd be concerned about. Game week 21, Trossard will be very popular, I think, especially if they double. If they double at 21, Trossard will be a big transfer in, I think. Do I think Patterson is better than Bueno? Slightly, yes. If you have that 0.1 spare to go with Patterson over Bueno, I think it's worth it. He's slightly more nailed. Defensively, he's pretty even, but Patterson could double in game week 21, and Patterson is guaranteed to play in game week 25 because both Everton and their opponent are out of the cup. Now, the chances of where are we? Where are Wolves? The chances of Wolves Fulham getting to the cup final is slim, right? So the chances of Bueno blanking again is minimal. So I wouldn't worry too much about that. But I just back. There's not much between it, right? I just think the double in 21 is slightly better. If it falls, but there's not that much between them. Really isn't. KDB or Darwin? It depends how many other premiums you've got. I want two true premiums in my team. So that's Salah, De Bruyne, Haaland, Kane. I want two of those in my team. If you've already got two, then it's Darwin. If you've only got one, then it's De Bruyne. I think the squad structure helps so much if you've got two of them in there. Yeah. With Cancelo, with or without for Saka. So Cancelo versus Saka, I'd probably go Cancelo. I probably would, especially if you've got an Arsenal midfielder in Martinelli, for example, or Odegaard. Hi, good morning. Why did I sell Andreas? Just because I like the 3-5-2 formation quite a lot. I think it's the strongest formation for me to go into the upcoming weeks. A lot of the good options are in midfield. I could bring in Pereira into my team for game week 19 when they double if I really want to, but I don't think that's likely to happen. I'm quite happy with how things are. I don't think I need Pereira. I don't think I need a Fulham doubler, given that I've got 3 Chelsea. I think in 19 and 20, you need a minimum of 6 players doubling in 19 and 20 combined. Not in each, combined. So I've got 3 Chelsea and I'll have 3 City. I think that's a minimum requirement. 3-5-2 is very Christmassy. I know it looks like a Christmas. Well, it does more look like a Christmas tree on the app, but will Perisic play? I don't think Perisic will play. Well, is he back actually? Let's see what the Spurs predicted lineup is saying. So Chelsea are predicting, yeah, James to start and Mount to start. Where's Tottenham? Perisic is not predicted to play. Perisic not. Base 8 million mid, probably Saka. It depends if you've got Mount. If you want to go Mount and punt on him for the doubles like I am, then that's yeah, probably be looking there. Wilson or Martial. Wilson if you can afford it, I think, short term. Wilson if you can afford him. I think Martial, I like Martial a lot, right? But if I had the money to go above, then I would. Spurs team leaks, we don't have any yet. We will keep you posted if there is anything on it. But yeah, nothing as of yet. Nothing as of yet. Start Mitrovic or White. News on Mitro. We don't have anything on Mitrovic. So, to be honest, I don't reckon he sits on the bench. I reckon, so I'd probably start him. And if he doesn't play, then you get White off your bench. What are my thoughts on... Where was it? Kulusevski. I like him a lot. I'm eyeing up my transfer in game week 19 to be Saka to Kulusevski. I can always go back for Saka in game week 21, but it might depend on how Nketiah is looking as well. If I want to go and get Nketiah, then Saka to Kulusevski for Kulusevski's double, and then going in and doing like Darwin to Nketiah also works for his double. So there's a few ways of doing it. I am eyeing up a Kulusevski move in game week 19 or 20 for his double. So I do like Kulusevski a lot. Brentford away on the opening kickoff does not fill me with a lot of confidence though, which is why I don't really want to start with him. And the same for you and the same for a lot of people is I basically don't have a transfer that I want to use pre game week 19. Like my team for the next 2 weeks is fine. And then that will be restore. This will be my team for game week 19, which is the double. Mount double, James double, Kepa double. Saka out to Kulusevski does work. He plays Palace that week, while Saka plays against Newcastle. And then, of course, Kulusevski has the double the following week when Martinelli just has Spurs away. Almiron or Martial, again, thank you, Christian. All the money donated through Super Chat is going to charity. So thank you for your support. You're not only asking the question, but you are also also going to charity as well. Almiron or Martial, this means 252 over 343. I think Martial is a better option than Almiron, so I'd probably go there. Although I prefer 352, I'd probably go there, but never again with Kulu for me. He's just without Richarlison though, I think he could do really well. But yeah, I'm going to wait and see what they look like as well. White and Martial or Botman and Bueno and Wilson. White and Martial. Oh, you love my overlay. I appreciate it. I hope you guys are liking it. The little chat over there, that side. These things are changing, right? Yeah, there we go. There we go. They do change. They do change. Is it done for me to captain Kane over Haaland? Yes. So, hang on a minute. Oh, here we go. Lads, Mayday, team news. Mayday. Now is not the time for Tinder links in my chat, please. Or whatever those links are. My concern is the add moderator button is right next to the ban from channel button. The add moderator button is right next to the ban from channel button. But anyone issues in Liverpool stuff, so let's wait and see what we get here. But it looks like we might get some Liverpool team news, which isn't the early kickoff, it's the lunchtime kickoff, which is interesting. I'm lagging a bit, I know. I don't think they go to Tinder. No. No, you're probably right. Since it's for charity, thank you very much, Quarry, for the super chat. So yeah, let's see if we get anything from Sam. Let's see if we get anything here. If anyone doesn't follow this Sam page, he is normally very reliable. So let's go tweets and replies. I was doing super chat, otherwise I'd have banned them. No worries. No worries. So yeah, potentially getting some Liverpool team news. It's from a news source, so don't... Oh, I mean, like, that doesn't fill me with much confidence, to be honest. He said, it's from a news source, so don't know 100%. I can still put it out if you want, though. I mean... Doesn't fill me with loads of confidence. I don't know what it does to you guys either. But yeah, it doesn't fill me with loads of confidence, that, to be honest. But Kane or Darwin, we'll keep answering questions until we get anything actually tweeted from him. Kane or Darwin? Darwin. You've gone KDB, Salah and Haaland. Wow, if you've managed to squeeze that all in and still had a good enough squad structure, but then well done. My team is quite expensive. Yeah, my team value is very high. Cucurella, a better low alternative, yes, but Chilwell won't be that long out, and then Chilwell will cause havoc for his minutes. Lumi, Harry already answered that. He said Wilson if you have the money. Thanks, Lumi. Yes, yeah, Wilson over Almiron, Wilson over Martial if you have the money. How long have we got? 14 minutes to the deadline. I mean, oh, the only thing is Darwin. Oh, it's panicking me now. Panicking. Apologies if that's hurt anyone's ears. Mr. Super Chat. I did queries. Oh, Matt. Perfect. Sorry, got it. Saka or Wilson? Would I go for Saka or Callum or Wilson? Probably Saka. Probably Saka. Tyrone, thank you for joining as a base tier member. I appreciate it a lot. Again, base tier member, all of it goes to charity. Whatever member, whatever super chat you give. Base tier gets you all the perks of being in the stream. So the badges, the emojis, everything like that. Plus, if you go for the top tier, the $4.99, you get the group chat as well on Twitter. So if you join that, drop me a message on Twitter. I'll get you added to that and I answer your questions all throughout the week, not just during a live stream. Anything more from you, Sam? A new source, just putting that at the bottom of a tweet just never fills me with loads of confidence, to be honest. But let's see what they say. Let's see what they say. Welcome. What was that beep? Sorry, I hit my nice Christmas gong. I hit a glass on another glass. Am I sure Kepa plays? Yeah, I think he plays. I think so. What's up with Darwin? Nothing, but Salah's going to play, right? Darwin's the only one that might not play. Might not play. We are only 18 subscribers away from hitting 40,600. I know there are 18 of you in the chat who are not subscribed, and there's over 700 of you in the chat who have not liked the stream as well. Should I start with White or Mitrovic? I'd probably start Mitrovic if he plays fantastic. If not, you'll probably get White off your bench. Because I don't think Mitrovic will be fit enough. He'll either be starting or he won't be on the bench. Won't be on the bench, so I don't know what I think about that source, to be honest. If it says Nunes is injured, what am I going to do? I need my flow chart as well. If Nunes is injured, can I do... Let's say it said he was injured. Like, could I do Darwin to Wilson? How much does that leave in the bank? 1.7. Oh. As if. I mean, not that I'm going to do it. Abdullah, what will I do? Yeah, if Darwin is benched. Oh, I'm 0.1 short. I'd probably do that. I'd go Fernandez and Wilson in, and I'd probably sell Patterson to Bueno and just do that. I'd probably do this. I'd probably do that. It's always good to have a plan. Always good to have a plan. Always good. But yeah, probably something like that. Sorry, pick team. I'm going to check it on my phone first because it's just not nailed on how reliable it's going to be. Yeah, can you get a move on as well, though? I'm not running out of time here. For 1 hour. So, 7.1 million alternative to Mount. Trossard, I think he's exactly 7.1, isn't he? Yeah, Trossard 7.1. Trossard for 7.1. God, so many of these find your love bots in the chat today. Almiron or Trossard? If you've got the spare money, I quite like Trossard, but I'd probably start with Almiron and just leave the money in the bank. You're surprising Harry's gone on Saka and Martinelli. I did it game week 1 as well. I quite like them for the next two, West Ham, Brighton. I did want to punt on Anthony as well, but I wasn't sure of it. I can't tell if he's trolling now as well, that guy, because he's just posted. If Darwin... What's going on? If Darwin is out, should I Darwin and Almiron to Wilson and Mount? Yeah, that's quite nice. Yeah, I like this move. I mean... He's just said Allison starts, so I mean... Like... It's not that helpful for any of us, is it? So we'll keep an eye on it. We'll keep an eye on it if he does post anything. But do I think I plan for when to use my second wildcard? Yeah, good question. I probably will play my second wildcard in and around game week. Like 30 to 35 tends to be where I would play it. Now the doubles and blanks might fall slightly differently this year than they did last year, so I don't know an exact date, but it's about after game week 30, before game week 35. Tends to be when we play our second wildcard, and I think it's most useful in there. Who should I get instead of Bueno? You have 0.8 in the bank and don't want to use it all. Can get Botman. Can't you go to Ben White? I do think Ben White is worth it. You think you burned your first wild card? I mean, I'm good. Before I show this, I'm going to be like, please, I don't know how reliable this is. Surely that's insinuating that Nunes does start, right? It says, someone said Carvalho and Nunes, ? And someone said, the team I have does not contain Carvalho's name in it. Right? Presumably that's saying, yeah, Carvalho's not going to start, but Nunes is on it, right? I mean, I'm reading between the lines a lot here. So, yeah. I'm reading between the lines a lot here, but I think that bodes well for Nunes. I don't know. We'll wait and see. But Pick 2, Foden, Rashford or Martinelli. I'd probably drop Foden, keep the money in the bank. Bueno or Patterson. Patterson if you can afford it. Sorry, this isn't my team. This is. I spent the whole stream with massive warning signs saying, Harry, you're dropping frames. I'm going to have to check this stream stuff, but yeah, everyone confirm your teams. You do not want the site to crash if something does happen, so at least be happy with it how it is now. With how it is now. Make sure you've hit confirm on that stream. Why doesn't he just post the whole team lineup? I know these people. Why does it keep going back to call the midwife? But yeah, Harry, you're fine. 6 minutes till deadline. Is that, yeah, 5 minutes and 18 seconds to the deadline. Nice little timer we've got up there. Harry, why have I got Wilson even though you want Darwin? No, sorry, that was if he told me Darwin was not going to play, that was what I was going to do, but that's not what he said, so yeah. Martial likely to start or Wilson instead. If you can afford Wilson over Martial, I would do Wilson over Martial, but I think Martial will start as well. I think they'll both start. Alisson to cover Liverpool defence. No, I would not. I would not do that. There's no coverage isn't a thing really. And just because you've got Alisson doesn't mean you've got a lot of the appeal of defenders is the attacking threat they get as well. So having Alisson for the clean sheets doesn't do nearly enough. Hang on a minute. Oh, that is not ideal. That's not ideal. Oh, hang on. That is not ideal. That implies that Reece James doesn't start. But that's tomorrow. That's a long way ahead to have some team news. But I still want him for the double. I still want him for the double. That's the only thing. Who can I get? I mean, the game's crashed, so site's down. Fantastic. Site is broken. Site is broken. To be honest, I'm quite happy with it. I'm not like... I want Reece for the double anyway, but the FPL site has broken. The FPL site has broken. I didn't remove Nunes, no. We have no Nunes news either. I think Nunes starts from that tweet, and I'm not sure Reece James does from that one, but the game has crashed. Like, who'd have thought it, eh? I mean, again, as I said, if you need to make changes, please go and check on your phone because it works a lot longer on your phone than it does on than it works on website. But doesn't look like app is fine. Cool. Listen, if you guys are looking and you don't want to go with Reece James, and I mean, top work, this, isn't it? Top stuff, this. If you are looking to sell Reece and need someone in and around the sort of same price, you could downgrade. You could go to Cucurella. You can stand under my Cucurella. Do we start White then? So it's an embargoed press conference 48 hours before the deadline. If you are looking to sell, you could go to Cucurella, but then Chilwell will be back and that will cause you an issue. I'd probably go to a Manchester United defender, to be honest. I'd probably go to the likes of Luke Shaw. Would be my move, would be my advice. If you are looking to sell him, I'd go to Luke Shaw, and then you can potentially go up to Reece James when we know he's fit. You could always just start Ben White. It's just so far in advance that worries me a little bit about just benching him. So yeah, if you're going to sell him to Trippier. If you're going to decide to start him over Ben White, it's your call. I think I'm going to just start him. Go on your phone as well if you can't do it, because the phone is better than the website. Look at his reasoning for James. I say this purely off the fact that Potter likes to ease players into the 11 after injury. He's got no info. Oh, this guy, I've had it. No. This guy's now, what he's done. What he's done, the deadline has passed as well, so I've not made a change. Deadline passed, deadline crashed. Like, this is nothing. What's the use of info when he replies saying, I'm not sure, I don't know, and then just backtracks on it all? I mean, and he's crashed the game, so... I don't really know what to do. Game should be locked in by now. The game has crashed. Deadline is passed. I don't quite know what I finished with. I think I finished with this. An embargoed section of his press conference, apparently talking about easing players back in, but I've left Reece James in. App crashed now as well. What a start. What a way to start the restart. Just creates panic in the community. I mean, that guy's not going to be popular, is all I'm going to say. Cool. This kind of typical news. Focal raid. Legend. This is what I think we ended up on. I think. I don't try and do any changes. I did think about putting White in, but I didn't ever click confirm on it. Thank you all. Thank you all for joining. Cheers, Focal, Oscar. Merry Christmas to you all. Thank you all for joining. If you guys are new, do hit that subscribe button. We do upload 3 times a week. But yeah, I just hope you all have had a lovely Christmas. Everyone who is joining, I hope you enjoy the football today. I hope you enjoy watching it. This was how I think I lined up. Again, the Reece James news is apparently just quotes him saying, I like to ease players back in from injury. He played Reece James 60 minutes last week, so if that's all it is, then I'm not worried at all. So. If that's what it is, then I'm not worried. I miss World Cup fantasy. Duncan, you do not. You and me both do not miss that one. All these Focal NPCs, I know. Just all these bots. Cheers, Oscar. I appreciate it. And thank you all for joining as well. Good luck this week if you are going to just jump in and head off. We will stay chatting for a little minute as well. But Merry Christmas to you all. Thank you for joining. Thank you, Oscar. And yeah, make sure you've subscribed as well if you have just jumped in as well. The deadline is passed. Let me know did you guys do anything with your Reece James? Did you start Reece James? Did you sell Reece James? Did you start Reece James? Did you sell him? Like, what did you do? I think I started him. Has he said anything else? He's trying to backtrack as fast as he can. Now he's probably going to delete it. Just part of his embargoed press conference. Anyway, thank you all for joining. Yeah, this is the stream. Sorry, this is the team. I'm losing it. Focal, what have you done to me? 3-5-2, absolutely. It's the strongest formation. It's only strong, though, if you have good team value, I think. I mean, you could do Almiron in for one of these mids, to be fair, and then it becomes pretty easy. Start James, sold James. You started him. You sold him. Start. You kept him. Good. Start. I mean, it looks like the guy's backtracking because he's not sure on his sourcing or his info, and he's not even sure what his sourcing or his info is trying to say, to be honest. So, yes. Cool. I think we are going to wrap up the stream there. Let me just set up something really quick. Don't know if this is going to work. Nah, cool. So the stream has been fine today. I hope you've enjoyed it. I hope you like the new setup. It'll be back again next week, of course, with the similar stuff, and actually the stuff that is like captaincy, the stuff that's players to buy, etc., will be hopefully slightly more relevant because we're not just picking a team. We've got players to buy and everything like that as well. So I hope you've liked it, guys. If you haven't already, please make sure to like the stream, subscribe to the channel if you have not already and you are new, or if you've come over from Oscar. If you're on TikTok as well, thank you for joining. Make sure you follow the page and you have liked the stream there as well. Have a lovely Boxing Day. I hope you get all the FPL points that you need, especially from the players if they are in my team as well. Have a lovely one. It's great to be back, guys. There'll be videos very soon as well, planning for Gameweek 18 and onwards. Appreciate the 40,000 subscribers as well. So yeah, have a good one, and it is lovely to be back.